Posted by you/oxygeneration loss. Today I effed up by hospitalizing my 9-year-old brother. Typing this out from the waiting room, I feel so guilty, and my mom won't even look me in the eye. Today, my 17M brother, 9M, wanted to play on my Xbox in my room, which I, reluctantly, said yes to, but since we moved in last week, my room, which is small anyway, is still mostly full of boxes, so there really isn't much room to move at all. He was sitting on the floor playing Minecraft and I was sitting on my bed doing a Superman puzzle when my mom called me into the kitchen to help her reach something. This is when I effed up. So, as I said, there isn't much space in my room, especially at the end of my bed where the TV is right next to my door, and as I tried to squeeze past to leave to go to my mom in the kitchen, I accidentally bumped into the TV stand and the worst thing possible happened. The TV fell onto my brother. He started screaming and everything up until now was one big blur. My mom came running in, shouting, asking what happened, and calling for my dad, while I just stood there, watching it all happen from outside my room. It was like I was frozen. My mom screamed at my dad to phone an ambulance, but I couldn't see my brother, so I took a step forward and saw that his head was bleeding, and at this point I was really panicking. My dad told me to go downstairs and let anyone who knocks on the door inside, so I did. I waited by the door, and a few minutes later, paramedics knocked on the door, so I let them in. My mom went in the ambulance with him, while my dad and I followed in a car. We got there about 15 minutes after my mom did, and I heard her tell my dad that my brother will be okay, but she still refuses to speak to me, even after I asked her what's going on with my brother, and I haven't heard anything from a doctor yet, and it has been about half an hour now. Sorry if this is difficult to read, I just feel so guilty and anxious for hurting my brother. TLDR, my brother was playing games in my room, and I accidentally dropped a TV on his head, putting him in the hospital. Now on to some comments before the updates. Posted by 50R14, complete and total accident. I know you're feeling terrible, and your mom is just processing everything, but this could have been a lot worse. You did nothing wrong, op. Kaffer responded with, and to be perfectly clear, if for whatever reason your mom doesn't process things well, remember that this was an accident and there was likely little you could have done to prevent it. No matter what you, or anyone else tries to argue about how you could have done things differently, at the end of the day it was unintentional and you're having a normal emotional response to the event. Posted by Decade-RSK8R, it was an accident. Clean your room and take whatever steps you need to take so that this doesn't happen again. Do something extra nice for your brother and don't beat yourself up too much mentally. Your mom is just upset. Jayasamaru responded with, yeah, this is it. Make the effort to ensure this doesn't happen again. And not just your TV, make sure bookcases, drawers and other heavy tip-over-able objects are similarly secured. Not just in your room but also the living room, dining room, etc. This could be a good project for you and your dad to show your mom that you understand what happened and are mature enough to prevent this from happening in the future. And then, well, hopefully your mom understands it's an accident. Give it some time. Edit, since people are getting caught up on that you are just 17, still a child, not at fault, it's not your house. Just to clarify, yeah, this isn't your fault. You aren't responsible for fixing things like this. Yes, your parents should have fixed the TV on securely. But that doesn't matter. That's the past. There's no point dwelling on that. But you did post this on Reddit. And you've gotten responses. Your parents probably didn't post something like this on the web. They might not have spoken to other people or gotten advice on how to prevent something like this in the future. And maybe even after this, they might not see a problem and just think that it's something that can be avoided by being careful. Maybe they do secure the TV to the table, but maybe they don't see a connection to other tipping hazards. But if you've read this comment or similar comments, then you've acquired this knowledge. So, at the very least, this is a concern you should raise to your parents. Perhaps not because it's your responsibility, but because you are part of this family unit, and it would truly be tragic if a similar incident occurs. Offering your help is, well, you can simply think of it as a method to further bond with your parents. And besides, 17 is like what? Pretty close to the cusp of adulthood? Posted by Bridal_Bunny. In all reality, your parents should have made sure the house was safe for your little brother. Things like TV straps and furniture wall anchors are a must to prevent exactly this. These types of situations are way more common than you realize. On average, 17,313 children seek medical attention by falling TVs every year. It's the responsibility of the parents to prevent this from happening by installing TV straps/anchors. You're both very lucky this hasn't happened before. English_Rose86 responded with, "Op, this comment right here. Even at 17 and 9, you guys are kids, and your parents are responsible for your safety." What a Little Nerd responded with, "This is exactly what I was thinking. My cat knocked my TV over the other day and broke the stand. Did I blame my cat? No, it's my fault I didn't secure the TV. All they can do now is prevent this from happening again, not blame anyone." Now on to the updates. Update 1, my dad and I are home now. My brother's going to be fine, but possibly staying overnight at the hospital just to be safe, and my mum's going to stay with him. My dad has told me my mum's not angry, she was just scared for my brother, and I've spoken to her on the phone. It's all good. I've tidied up my room and moved the TV so it's safe now, and I bought some snacks for him when he gets back. Thanks everyone for the kind words. I will update when he's home again. Update 2, he's home. My brother is going to be absolutely fine. I gave him some of the snacks and loads of hugs, he's doing great. Here are some details I've seen people ask about in the comments. Yes, the TV still works, miraculously, as it landed on carpet. The TV was just a small flat screen. I don't know the right terminology for it, but it's really tiny as I don't have the space for a bigger one. The reason my brother's head was bleeding was because the plastic in the corner of the TV is what hit his head, which I think scraped his head, leaving a small cut. Seeing blood, even a small amount, made everyone panic, which is why he went to the hospital and my mum gave me the silent treatment. It was scary. Now on to the last story. Posted by u/nomut8971. AITA for not giving frequent updates to a friend's husband when he refused to come to the hospital? Hey, one of my co-workers/friends came to me at work and said she had bad chest pain. That she needed to go to urgent care. I told her I would cover her shift. We both got off in an hour anyways. When I got off, I noticed my friend sitting on the sidewalk crying in pain. She said the pain was much worse. She said her husband didn't come. I took her to the hospital myself. When we got there, I sent a text to her husband telling him what hospital we were at. His reply was, "Cool, update me in 20 minutes. Long story short. Her gallbladder ruptured, she needed immediate surgery. I called her husband and he said, "I don't like the smell at the hospital. It makes me sick. Just notify me every 30 minutes on how she is doing." I told him no. That it was serious, and he needed to come down. He didn't reply. My friend got out of surgery. The doctor said she has a bad infection. She will need to stay in the hospital a couple of days. I ended up calling my friend's mom. Her mom immediately asked where her husband was. I told her what he said. Later I started getting mean messages from him. He was really mad I didn't give him updates like he asked. My friend's mom showed up and let me know she was texting and asking my friend's husband for updates. He still doesn't know my friend's mom is with her now. I am starting to feel like I am the A for not telling him I called my friend's mom. Or giving him the updates like he asked for. Now on to some comments before the update. Posted by Nut Michelle. NTA. You did a nice thing to support your friend. You did not, however, sign up to be her husband's secretary. He can either get to the hospital like a decent spouse would, or he can sit at home in the dark and hope his wife isn't pissed. Third Time Lucky responded with, "He's not a decent spouse at all. Op's friend is better off in the hands of her mom." Hopefully mom and Op will also support friend as she sorts through her thoughts on the waste of space bloke she married and dumps his arse. Op is NTA, Op did the very best thing for her friend. Tango 421 responded with, "NTA, this was what was running through my head, though I used personal assistant rather than secretary. Goodness, this triggers me. I'll admit I was that spouse and asking my aunt for updates. She picked up my wife, but I was on the next plane home, grabbed some stuff for the wife in my car. The only reason I didn't go straight to the hospital from the airport was I was told to get stuff and not to bring my luggage to the hospital. On my turn, my wife was with me the whole time, and she hates hospitals." Garden Safe 8519 responded with, "He's a shit husband. NTA. Reminds me of the time I was driving home from out of town and there were 3 cars ahead of me. I saw a deer dart across the street, everyone slowed, but then the deer turned back into the street and the lead car hit the deer. She rolled to a stop on the shoulder and the other 2 cars went by her. I stopped. Every one of her windows had been shattered, she had cuts on her from the windshield and driver's window. I saw an infant car seat in the back and told her she's lucky her baby wasn't with her. She said she was on her way to pick him up. I asked if there was anything I could do for her, and she asked if I would go to her husband's work, 10 minutes up the road, and tell him to pick up their kid. No cell phones at the time, so I told her I would do that and tell him to call for the police and her tow truck. When I go to his workplace and told him his wife hit a deer and he needed to pick up his kid, he laughed. I was pissed and said, "Look buddy, your wife's car is totaled with all the windows busted and she has cuts all over. You need to call the police, your insurance. Something, and go get your kid from daycare." He finally got himself together with a semi-serious look and asked where it happened, and I saw his secretary shooing him away as I left. Now onto the update that was located in the comments section. Update: my friend is doing better today. She has decided to separate from her husband. When I went to visit, I got the whole story. When my friend's sister and Bill went to my friend's apartment, they found her husband there playing video games when he was supposed to be at work. Red flag, after my friend called her husband and pressed him. He told her he quit his job and didn't want her to find out. That his job was too stressful, and he didn't want to work anymore. He lost his health insurance once he quit. Thankfully, we have health insurance through our company. My friend is covered. My friend said this was the final straw. She said he does nothing to help their family. They have a 2-year-old daughter he dropped off to the babysitter early this morning even though he was home.